The death of Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man number 121 through 122, often referred to as the night Gwen Stacy died, is one of the most pivotal moments in comic book history. It marked the end of the Silver Age of comics and ushered in the dark, more mature Bronze Age. This tragedy not only shaped Spider-Man's character, but also defined his relationship with morality, vengeance, and responsibility. But what if Spider-Man had crossed the line and killed Green Goblin in retaliation for Gwen's death? Let's explore the alternate scenario and its potential ramifications. In the original storyline, Peter Parker is consumed by grief and rage after Gwen Stacy's death. He tracks down Norman Osborn and engages in a brutal fight. Peter ultimately refrains from killing Osborn, staying true to his moral code and the principle that, with great power comes great responsibility. Instead, Osborn dies accidentally when his glider impales him during the fight. This restraint is a defining moment for Spider-Man, showcasing his ability to rise above vengeance, even in the face of unimaginable loss. But had he chosen differently, the consequences would have been profound. If Spider-Man had killed Green Goblin after Gwen's death, it would have marked a significant departure from his core values. The act of killing, even in revenge, would likely leave Peter with deep guilt and self-loathing. Unlike other heroes like Punisher or Wolverine, Spider-Man has always been portrayed as someone who avoids lethal force at all costs. This decision would fundamentally alter his character, potentially leading him down a darker path. Peter's relationships with those closest to him, Aunt May, Mary Jane Watson, and Harry Osborn would be severely strained. Harry, already dealing with addiction and grief over his father's death, will likely become a sworn enemy of Spider-Man much earlier than in the original timeline. Mary Jane might struggle to reconcile her feelings for Peter with his actions, creating tension in their budding relationship. Spider-Man has always been a hero who operates outside the law, but adheres to a strict moral code. Killing Green Goblin would tarnish this image, potentially turning public opinion against him. J. Jonah Jameson would seize this opportunity to paint Spider-Man as a dangerous vigilante, rather than a protector. Spider-Man's stories have always been rooted in tragedy, but they also emphasize hope and redemption. Killing Green Goblin would shift this narrative focus entirely. Instead of being a hero who learns from loss and grows stronger, Peter might become consumed by anger and regret, leading to darker storylines akin to those seen with characters like Daredevil or Batman. Harry Osborn's transformation into the second Green Goblin is crucial to Spider-Man's lore. If Peter kills Norman Osborn, Harry's descent into villainy might be accelerated or take on new dimensions. He could become an even more ruthless adversary, driven by hatred for Spider-Man, not just as his father's killer, but as someone who betrayed their friendship. Norman Osborn's death will leave a power vacuum in New York's criminal underworld. Villains like Doc Ock or Kingpin might rise to fill this void sooner than they did in the original timeline. Additionally, Norman's absence could prevent certain events tied to his resurrection during later arcs like the Clone Saga. Spider-Man has always grappled with questions about justice versus vengeance. Killing Green Goblin would blur these lines significantly. While some fans might argue that Norman deserved it for murdering Gwen Stacy, others would contend that Peter's decision undermines everything Uncle Ben taught him about responsibility. Once a hero crosses the line into killing, it becomes a slippery slope. Would it stop at Green Goblin, or would Spider-Man begin to justify lethal force against other dangerous villains? This decision could shift Peter down a darker path, more aligned with anti-heroes like the Punisher or Moon Knight, where justice becomes vengeance, and the lines blur fast. In this alternate timeline, we might see a grittier, more brutal Spider-Man, one who doesn't hold back, even if it means losing a piece of his humanity. The ripple effects would hit hard. Harry Osborn, already broken by his father's twisted legacy, could become Peter's most personal nemesis, blaming him for both Norman's death and Gwen's. That vendetta could birth a new era of chaos in Peter's life, driven by betrayal and revenge. Meanwhile, the Avengers themselves might fracture over this decision, Captain America likely condemning it, while someone like Wolverine might see it as a necessary evil. The big question remains, was it justified? Could Peter have stopped Norman without killing him? Was avenging Gwen worth risking his soul and his reputation among other heroes? Let us know what you think. Would killing Green Goblin have changed Peter for better or worse? Could you still call him your hero? Drop your thoughts in the comments. The idea of Spider-Man killing Green Goblin after Gwen Stacy's death flips everything we know about Peter Parker on its head. It might offer a moment of emotional release, but at what cost? That single act could shatter the very foundation of who Spider-Man is, sending shockwaves through his story and the entire Marvel Universe. Would it make him stronger or break him beyond repair? Let us know what you think. Was it justice or just vengeance? Drop your take in the comments, and don't hold back, we're diving deep into this one. And if you love exploring the darkest corners of the Spider-Man verse, hit that like button, subscribe, and swing over to the next video. We'll catch you on the next one, webheads.